Hey everyone, welcome back for a little TLC. Today we're going to be talking about WAP music, or I'm going to call it WAP music because I'm not about to spell out that acronym all throughout this video, and music that is similarly situated. So I'll be honest with y'all, I have not watched the video or listened to the song all the way through because I couldn't even get all the way through the lyrics because it was a bit too much for me, and I'm not going to give this song or similar songs a platform on my channel, but I will, if you decide that you're going to go and watch this stuff yourself or listen to it yourself, give you a summary, and I will tell you to be advised. The music is very, very sexually explicit, and there's a lot of nudity or almost nudity and just some language that you probably don't want your children to be listening to. So there's that, and we're going to be talking about it today. Should we be listening to WAP music? Yeah, so WAP music, people are saying that it's about sexual liberation, it's about body positivity and women's empowerment. You know, like women should be able to do the same thing sexually that men do, and really promoting promiscuity and nudity and just being open about who you're having sex with, and being okay with all of those things. And so two things come to my mind when I think about those particular perspectives on why people should listen to WAP music. The first question that I have is, when did it become acceptable, or the thing that we do when we value something, that we just go out and give it to everybody, and we show it to everybody, we give it to everybody, it doesn't matter because it's valuable, it's powerful, so we're just gonna let everybody have a go at it. It's not. That's never been what we consider to be acceptable when we value something. I was listening to Vicky Diller the other day, and she had a lot of great things to say about a lot of good analogies about when we actually value something, we protect it and we put it in a safe place. And so some of her examples were, like our bank accounts are protected, our homes, we have security systems, our children, we make sure that there are guardrails and things like that so that they're not harmed. I think about fine china, you put that away so that people can't break it. So sure, maybe they're able to look at it, but they can't touch the things that we consider to be valuable. On the opposite end of that, I think about paper plates. We use those, we give them to everybody because they are cheap and they are disposable. And that's kind of what we're saying is okay. If we're saying that WAP music is about sexual liberation, you should be able to just give all these things to everybody, your body, just give it to whoever because we're powerful and we're valuable. But in reality, when we value something, we protect it and we put it in a safe place. We just don't throw it around for everybody to have access to it. And I also think that number two, for folks who say this is about women's empowerment and that women should be able to do the same thing that men do, I think that if we say that that's true, then it's implying that the way that we sexualize men is okay. And I don't think that that's the case at all. I definitely agree that there is a double standard, that it's okay for men to do things sexually and women are called hoes and anything else if they're doing the same thing that men are doing. But I don't believe that the right standard is for us to want to do the same thing that men are doing. I believe that the standard we should be trying to reach is telling people, whether they are male or female, man, woman, boy, or girl, that you are so much more than your body count. You are so much more than your body. You are valuable outside of just what you can give somebody sexually. That should be the standard that we're trying to give to all people, not saying that women should be sexualized in the same way that men are. I do think that it's interesting that these songs talk about how fun and exciting it is to be what they're calling a legendary hoe, and it's talking about how these things are really fun, but nobody is talking about all the negative parts of just giving your body out freely to whomever because you're valuable. They don't talk about STDs in these songs. They don't talk about herpes or chlamydia or gonorrhea or HIV. They don't talk about the abandonment and the rejection issues that can stem from giving your body to all these people who won't commit to you. It doesn't talk about how our children might be impacted when they don't know where their father is, or when they have a different father from the rest of their siblings. It's not talking about any of those parts and how you're impacted spiritually and how you might feel like you're no longer close to God because you're just out here wilding out in these streets. I don't want y'all to get me wrong. I believe that our bodies are beautiful, and I believe that sex is beautiful as well, but anything can be dangerous when we're using it outside of the correct context. And so because our bodies are beautiful, because sex is such a beautiful and powerful thing, we need to value it in ourselves, and we need to protect ourselves in this area. Not only that, but I want you to know that you are so much more than your body. You are so much more than just sex. You are brilliant, you are talented, and you deserve having someone who will tell you that your value lies outside of just what your body can give somebody, and it lies outside of just your sexual organs. So for my men or my women, my boys and my girls who are trying to save themselves, I want you to know that you should still continue to do that, no matter what media says, no matter what might be popular in today's time. And even for those of you who have already dibbled and dabbled in sexual behavior, and I will be transparent and say that I am one of those people, I want you to know that you do not have to stay there. I pray for your restoration in Jesus Christ right now, and I will tell you that as someone who has dibbled and dabbled a little bit, I have so much more peace and I have so much more joy from the discipline that I have attained by trying to do things the right way and living in a way where I know that my body is valuable, and that means that I need to protect it and I need to value it and to keep it in a safe place until I find somebody who can value me in that way. So yeah, I just know that this type of music is not for me. I can barely listen to it or even read the lyrics through, and it's not something that I want. The messages that are portrayed are not something that I want for myself or for my younger generations. Like, I don't want my younger cousins, whether they be male or female, to know about sex and stripping and doing all of these other things, but they don't even know how to manage their finances. Like, I want them to have positive messages about how they can succeed based on anything other than their sexual organs. And parents and educators and those who have access to children, I want you to know that WAP music, and I'll go ahead and lump in music that talks about excessive drug use and talks about violence, this is what some of our kids are listening to today. And so I encourage you to learn how to have conversations about this type of music and this type of content with your children, because if they come to you, the answer is not to shut them down, but it's to have a real conversation about what is the actual truth when they're hearing some of these distorted messages. It is so important for you to remind your children of who they are and whose they are outside of the content of sex. So really have these conversations with your children, because I can tell you, like, I worked with middle school students and high school students, and they are listening to this type of music, music that talks about sex, music that talks about drug use, music that talks about violence. And so we want to be able to combat those messages with what the actual truth is. So there's my rant about WAP music. I know it's not for me, but my other question became, why is this music so popular in today's time? I'm fully aware that sex is definitely what sells. Sex sells, and we have so many artists who try to talk about something other than sex, or to try to put on these positive messages, and those songs are just not as popular. And so I wanted to really dive into why that is the case. So I think part of it might just be the production. I'm not gonna lie and pretend like I only listen to gospel all day long, because I don't. But the production of some of these songs, it's just better. Like, the music comes on and the beat will really hit, you know. So I can understand that there's more money that goes into putting on some of these songs that might not be good for us, that portray some of these negative messages. And I know, like, in the club, nobody is listening to gospel music in there unless it's Kirk Franklin when the club is about to close. But yeah, like, the production on some of this WAP music and other music that's similarly situated is just better. But I think that outside of money going to WAP music, I think we have to think about whether or not we really like this music because we are addicted to our own dysfunction. We have to think, like, do we like this music because it reminds us of where we are or where our family might have been, and that's why we like it so much, and that's why I want to keep listening to it, because we're addicted to our dysfunction. I also want us to think about whether or not we have become so desensitized that messages that are wrong for us don't even repulse us anymore. I remember I did a cut the crap challenge, which, you get rid of all these refined sugars and processed food and artificial sweeteners. And maybe it was either carbs or carbonated drinks. I can't really remember. But I remember I got rid of all those things for like a week. And when I went back to trying to eat some regular sugar, it was like so sweet to me and it was disgusting. But I wouldn't have ever known that I was repulsed by some of those things if I didn't take a break from it. We are constantly bombarded with negative media. We are constantly bombarded with sex and violence and drugs. And so it may be possible that we have become desensitized to those things that are not even good for us. So I want us to really think about that. I also remember a while back, I can't remember if I was in middle school or high school, but I was in the car with my daddy, and I think I will say it was Ignition Remix came on, and I was like, oh shoot, this is my jam. And my daddy hurry up and turned the station to gospel. And he was like, no, this is your jam. And he really taught me a valuable lesson about how music really will influence how you act, how you think, and just like how you are. And I didn't really want to listen to him then, but the older I got, the more I realized how much music really did impact me. I could be listening to a lot of sexual music, and that is exactly what I would want to do. I could be listening to party music, the beat is jumping and it was like real hype, but I would be like, oh shoot, I need to go and party, I need to go drink, I need to go do this and that, because that's what the music was talking about. And it was fun and it was hype, right? And so first I want to say, Daddy, thank you for teaching me that lesson, even though I didn't really listen that much then, but I am listening now. And I'm more conscious of what I listen to, and I want you all to be more conscious of what you listen to as well. Like, I don't want to tell you that you need to sit around listening to gospel all day. I don't do that. I'm not about to listen to hymns for the rest of my life, but I do want you to be aware of how music impacts how you think, your emotions, and how you might live out your everyday life. Just like worship music like takes you higher and makes you feel like you're going to the holiest of holies, music that is promoting sex just like you think that worship music takes you to the holiest of holies, music that is promoting sex, drugs, and violence will also cause you to go to a certain place. And so we really need to be aware of what we are listening to. So that's what I have. I would love to know what you all think about WAP music and other music that promotes sexual behavior, violence, drugs, and things of that nature. Should we be listening to it at all? How can we protect our children from some of these messages? What should we do? I really love to know you all's thoughts on that. I would also like to know your thoughts on, do you think that this music is empowering? And if so, why do you think that? I hope I will see you all next week for a little TLC. All right.